Welcome to the 2020 APTA National Championships presented by our local sponsor, BTIG, and APTA national sponsors, Viking and Uline. We are live from the Country Club of Darien in Connecticut on the APTA network, presented by eNet Live. I'm Patty Hogan alongside Mark Fischel, bringing you a men's quarterfinal match between tournament number 1 seeds John Hughes and Mark Powers on the far side, up against Brian Compton and Scott Kahler, the number 5 seeds. Mark, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Patty. Let's identify our players for our fans. At the net, on the right side of the screen, is Mark Powers in the red. His partner, the lefty, in the black vest is John Hughes. On the far side of the net, currently out of sight. Here we go. Thank you, Kelly Diesel. And the red hat is Brian Compton. And the blue jacket is Scott Kahler. So you have only one teaching professional on the court, that being Scott Kahler, which in this day and age is a little surprising. So let's talk about the teams, Patty. Hughes Powers, as you alluded to, are the number 1 seeds, ranked number 1 in the country, and won the national championship in 2018, lost in the finals in 19. And I think they're pretty big favorites in this match. Compton Kahler we saw a lot of last night in their win over Chidjwekwe and Mashonga. So I'm looking for a good match. I think that Compton Kahler are going to want to play slow. Hughes Powers, the best fast court team in the country. And hopefully we're going to get Hughes Powers coach Jim Kaufman to sit in with us a little bit and talk about his thoughts on the match. Jim's had a very tough day, Patty. The other team he coached got a bit of an ass whooping in the semifinals, but Jim's got his marbles all in the right basket here, I think, and he's going to pull up a chair and join us. Players taking their warm-up serves, and we're going to bring Jim in as soon as the chair umpire introduces our players.
Welcome, Jim.
Okay, so the chair umpire will be introducing them momentarily.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the APTA 2020 National Tournament. This men's quarterfinal round match is best of 3 sets with tie breaks. To my right, in the ad court, from Chicago, Illinois, Brian Compton. His partner in the deuce court, from Sewickley, Pennsylvania, Scott Kahler. To my left, in the deuce court, from Enfield, Connecticut, John Hughes. His partner in the ad court, from New York, Mark Powers. Hughes Powers won the toss and has elected to receive.
Okay, Jim Kaufman, welcome to the booth.
Thanks, Mark.
Jim, what are your thoughts on the match? You've been working with John and Mark for a couple of years now. They've made a big leap under your tutelage. What are your feelings about it?
They've been playing well so far this weekend, and I think they're focused on lobbing more than anything else, getting these guys off the net. That worked pretty well against Compton and Kahler last night in that match. And stick with the fundamentals, smart overheads, not going to hit too many overheads to Compton's backhand, I hope, and lob and get these guys off the net. Kahler's an amazing volleyer. volleys right tight on the net, and if you don't get them off the net, you're not going to win many points from the backcourt.
Now, we saw in Short Hills a couple of weeks ago, Hughes kind of struggled with the lob, and he's known as one of the best lobbers in the game. What have you done to work with him to get him to lob better?
Well, we've been spending a lot of time on lobbing, both on the court and just talking about mechanics. And the other thing we've done a lot of is, realizing that if he's not lobbing well, there's no
You have
real
to start with a
opportunity
new
for
one.
offense. So if he's not lobbing well, just be patient and just work on the mechanics and lob better.
Yeah, and the thing that makes him so special is he drives the ball and lobs the ball with the same grip. In this day and age of the extreme grips, that's a really effective weapon.
Yeah, no, it is. But if the lobs are short, there's not much driving to be done. And hopefully they'll be a little bit more patient and work on getting these guys behind the service line.
Okay, so lob well, patient with the overheads, basically play like Jim Kaufman.
I don't know about that.
Scott,
Jim
are
Kaufman
you
maybe
serving
with foot
first?
speed.
You're Brian. You're serving first.
Well, Jim
Thanks.
Kaufman made a couple national finals, so he was pretty good.
What do you guys think? What are your views on the match?
Patty, you want to go first?
So obviously what you said was spot on, and I've seen Kahler play, and I just want to make one correction. He is no longer in the teaching profession, Mark.
That's right,
So
he's
we
out of
are
the
0
teaching.
for 4, and I hate to call out each
Nope,
other
you're
if
right.
we make an error, but we're all adults here. All is fair in the booth. So, Kahler loves being on top of the net, and you've got to get him off the net, and he wants people to, drive a little bit early. He's looking to cut that
Yep.
ball off, and I heard a couple of people talking about Brian Compton as one of the best players in the country, sneaky great. I don't
Players
think
ready?
he's sneaky to any of
Yeah,
us.
he's very good.
But I think he's sneaky great to a lot of people here.
Okay, so here we go. Brian Compton in the red hat is going to be serving to John Hughes. John's testing the ball out, see if it's round.
And Hughes and Powers are not sneaky great. They're just great.
Third year in a row, seeded number 1.
Looking for their third consecutive final.
No worries.
Yeah, we saw a little
Gotta
bit
be
last
happy.
night of Chizuke and Mushanga kind of baiting the Compton forehand. I think that's going to be something we're going to see a little bit today.
Compton's forehand's really good. It's just not as good as his backhand.
Yes, it's a little loopy,
There's
more
a little bit more
visible.
time. Yep.
Yep.
Are we going to see a lot of shots dumped into the middle because of that, Jim? Will they be able to play that ball?
I think so, because they're just not going to hit too many to the Compton's ad court side screen.
Right, so they-
and Scott's
Brian Compton to
unpredictable.
serve.
He'll drive the two-hander. He'll drive the forehand. It's not that safe over there either.
Sort of like in women's play where you don't want to feed with Florin Hanisch Annika's backhand.
Right.
You've got 3 other places on the court, at least. You got to find the other spots.
So Cobbs and Goldberg have had 5 match points in their match in the PTI semis with Dawkins and Lawton, and they've saved all 5.
Huge crowd up top watching the PTI men's semis. It's such a great way for it to be introduced into our sport. And those guys feel super special out there. Big fan base up there. A lot of Philly love up there.
And the hospitality tent is packed with people. Well, Hughes' forehand the last couple of weeks has really stepped it up another notch.
Yeah,
Top
we've
15.
been working on that. He's swinging through the ball a little better, hitting it a little bit harder, and being a little bit less tentative, and it's working.
Off the deck, he knows that's where people have been hitting. We talked
Correct.
about it recently. Jim, is there any truth that you put sawdust down on the court so that Hughes and Powers could see the placement of their overheads?
There is not truth that it's a good idea, and I wish I had done it.
So here you're going to see Compton Kahler tend to play a lot of long points. That's more Kahler's style than Compton. That one's wide.
Left 30.
Compton Kahler went out in the semis of the men's
15-30.
nationals last year. Remember that match, Mark? I don't know if you
Yeah,
were on that
I really
match
felt
with me.
they were kind of happy to be there. I didn't do that match. I did the other semi, but they were down like 6 love 3-1 very quickly. And I spoke to Kahler about that after the match, and he agreed they had too much respect, and were just happy to be there.
And as co-chair of a national event, as Carl Lebanon knows, it is so challenging
30-all.
to come out here and play well as the tournament director. Almost impossible. So the fact that Kahler made it to the semis last year, pretty impressive.
Couple of missed forehands from Hughes. And a miss like that will
40-30.
definitely bring a grimace to the face of Coach Kaufman.
So Coach Kaufman, when you talk about John Hughes and his forehand, hitting it, like loading up from the legs more.
I think
and
that's part of it. I think the bigger part is just finishing the stroke. And, plenty of topspin and plenty of clearance over the net.
It looks like I've seen him roll a little bit more, have
Yep.
a little looser follow through.
Yeah, exactly. I think
When
that's
I saw
exactly
him
what he's
play
working
recently.
on. Yep, I agree.
Deuce.
Back to deuce. I do think a fast start is imperative for Compton Kahler. And Mark and John are just such a good team. Clearly the favorites here. There's a real good lob from Hughes to start, a couple of them.
And Mark, talk about tournament co-chair. You and Tierna Kavanagh have done an amazing job.
Fantastic.
Every detail has been paid attention to here. It's remarkable.
Advantage
Every
Hughes,
different
powers.
place I walk around this facility, just something more clever than the next spot. So, as a
thank
paddle
you.
fan, we love this. Totally appreciate your efforts.
Boy, Powers comes out
Game.
really firing.
Hughes,
the ball.
Powers.
Hard to hit overheads against Mark and John. Not that many safe spots,
Yeah.
especially with John's forehand improving.
The way everybody tends to play him is just soft dumping the ball to Hughes's forehand.
Right. And that used to frustrate John, and then when John realized that's what people are going to do, he worked on getting better.
Yeah, I remember at Nationals a couple years ago when they played Durant Parsons in the semis. Durant Parsons played Powers. And last year, Araya Parsons played Powers as well. They were just worried about Hughes's lobbing ability. Okay, here we go. Mark Powers to serve to Scott Kahler. 1-love, first set.
Jim, when you make Mark and John do weightlifting and weight training, you clearly don't do that with them, because I haven't seen you in a muscle shirt like John Hughes is.
Well,
I
that's
got
not
it
true.
at home. I got it at home, Patty.
Yeah, I think I've seen Jim. He's got muscles bulging from everywhere.
Oh, great get.
Boy, that was a late
15
decision.
love.
And challenging his favorite shot.
What a backhand.
Anderson Bostrom just going into the third set
15-all.
with Burish or Doya.
Did you guys call the Juan and
I did.
match? Yeah.
Just
A
a
little surprising.
stunning performance.
A
from
thumping in
Broderick
that
Palmer.
second set.
I mean, they just
30-15.
played a perfect match. They made no mistakes. 30-15. Oh, that was a big forehand.
Wow. That's his weaker side?
So, Jim, should we look for Hughes or Powers to hit more of the overheads?
I think probably a little bit more John, because they want to go to Scott a little bit more than to Compton, but it's not going to be, I don't think, a huge difference. But I think they want to hit a few more balls to the deuce court than to the ad.
And John's overhead just has gotten so good.
Yeah, a lot
so
of
much
juice,
spin.
juice on it.
And Kahler's hitting more. You know, he has that forehand that he hits from high to low down on the ball. He's looking for that short shot more, I feel.
Yep.
Like this
He's
season.
very dangerous when the ball's up high to him.
Yeah, the ball's low. He's just throwing up another lob.
Right.
Okay, so Cobbs and Goldberg through to the finals on their 7th match point. Oh, that was a good setup that they didn't take advantage of.
40-15.
And they're going to play against Iverson Sanford on the live stream at 1 o'clock tomorrow.
And the full schedule tomorrow, Mark? Men's
semis at 9, and that's 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Then the PTI final at 11, women's final at 1, men's final at 3.
40-30.
I love the full Sunday day of paddle and the fact that, the men are going to be out there, teeing it up
Game.
at 3 o'clock in
Hughes
the afternoon.
Powers.
Good start for Mark and John.
Hughes Powers leaves 2-love in the first set.
A couple of wild misses from Compton.
Mark, I just heard a discussion. The Mitchell Durant match is going to start up on the upper courts.
Yep, we're going to bring him down here at the conclusion of the Anderson Bostrom Burrisher Doya match. Didn't want that start to get too late.
Yeah, it's a real disadvantage to those guys if they're playing out here and these guys, Broderick Palmer are already in the showers and getting a massage.
That was a clever shot by Kahler off Compton's back.
Love
I
15.
don't think Hughes anticipated that. I went right past him.
The only thing Hughes doesn't anticipate.
A couple of big forehands from Hughes there. And if you're a Compton Kahler fan, this is not the start they wanted. Hughes Powers looked very confident. Look at that lob from Hughes, both feet way out of the service box.
Jim, you've seen so many teams over the years who are really successful at the highest level, and the common thing is they can keep their foot on the gas, and if they get that early lead, Hughes and Powers, phenomenal front runners. But Kahler and Compton, you just never know in this sport.
Yeah, sure don't. The momentum changes are incredible.
Yep. Takes one or two shots to change everything.
Yeah, I think one of the things that makes this a tough matchup for Compton Kahler is that Hughes Powers just love that down-up overhead, which Kahler hits so many. And there you see Hughes' spin
30.
bothering him.
Yep.
And there you saw that great blitz by Mark Powers.
He anticipated the waterfall there and took the risk and went for it. Mark and John have struggled on the receiving end of waterfalls the last month or so, which is mainly a result of not lobbing their best.
On the next court, Blake Anderson just took a tumble. He's down, and it doesn't look good.
Ankle?
Looks like it. Martin Bostrom looks like he's taking off his shoe, which is not what you want to do.
I would run for some ice.
Yeah, ice is not the answer either.
No.
I mean, if he's going to continue to play, you got to keep the lace on. And there's that big forehand, great transition play from Kahler.
Maybe he's cramping, Mark.
Well, that would be better than a sprained ankle. Tightened the shoe on his ankle. Should have known a Swede would do the right thing. Oh, huge forehand. And there's a rare miss by Hughes in transition.
Yeah, not quite close enough to the net.
But they're the best transition team in the country. They're so good at that.
Jim, something tells me Hughes and Powers have not stopped thinking about their exit in the finals last year.
It definitely stung.
And the motivation.
Yeah, it's a long summer.
It's
a long summer when you lose 7-5 in the third in the finals.
Get yourself
and as you
in a
guys know, with
position.
our sport, we don't have 4 majors; we have 1, and it stings to lose in the finals.
Well, we have the APTA Grand Prix Tour.
That's
5
true.
events, Jim.
That's true. That's fair. I shouldn't have said that.
It's okay.
Great lob there from Powers.
But when you can compete at the highest level in the sport, it's all about this event.
Right.
For everyone else, Jim, it's a
Right,
little
Patty.
different. And they would
Wow.
trade every Grand Prix victory and
Great
every
close by
tournament
John
victory.
there.
Yeah, and the overhead. Hughes'
30-40.
overhead really giving him fits
Yep.
early.
Mark and John have gotten better about when to hit the spin overheads and when to play conservative, old school paddle. Good decision making.
Looks like Blake Anderson is up, testing it out.
Jim, is it old school or is it just
Game.
smart?
Hughes
It's a good
Powers.
question, Pat. It's definitely smart. Maybe it's. I think some of it's
Hughes
old school, but
Powers
it's definitely
leads
smart.
3-love in the first set.
But the more it changes, it seems like the more you see of some of those older shot selection, which people say, oh,
I mean,
you don't hit those
I
anymore.
think in lobs and push overheads, it's definitely old school. The forehands and the drives are better than ever, and the spin overheads are better than ever. But a large part of the sport's still old school.
If you don't lob well, you don't win.
Right. Period.
End of story. Well, this is just a dream start for Hughes Powers. Kind of rolling through them right now. And I don't get any sense from Compton Kahler of what they want to do out there. Do you see a strategy from them, Jim?
Not really.
Just kind of hitting the ball and hoping.
Mark, I have no idea how long have Compton Kahler been sitting around. Sometimes the break, I don't know. It's a big stage, and I know they've thought about their semifinal loss all year as well. But Hughes and Powers have played a full schedule this year. Kahler got out of the teaching profession. They've not played quite as many tournaments.
But there again, I mean, obviously that was a lucky
15
let code
love.
from Powers, but you see Hughes's overhead jumps so far, and Kahler kind of almost defended himself and hit a really bad lob as a result. You don't see Scott Kahler get fooled by the spin very often.
Jim, another thing for people watching at home who don't have the experience that we have watching all these players, the switching with the lefty-righty with Powers and Hughes, effortless.
Yeah,
they don't even think
it look.
about
They
it.
make it look really easy. I think they make good decisions on usually hitting soft overheads when they switch, and they switch really early. But they do make it look easy.
And it used to be that you had to pound the
Into
ball
the
into
screen.
two screens.
Right.
That was the conventional
Yep.
wisdom. And then that changed for everyone. And I think a lot of lefties and righties are well served to see the off-speed ball and
Yep.
how that positions them.
And if you can hit it deep, you have plenty of time. What a backhand. A lot of rumors on the internet about George Wilkinson being in the booth tomorrow. Are those
I can neither
confirmed?
confirm nor deny them. When George Wilkinson shows up, he shows up.
Shout out to Eric Fay, who's tuned in and enjoying the match so far.
This is the type of tempo I think is really important for Compton Kahler, because if they play fast, Hughes and Powers are going to win. They've got to get into some of these long grinding points. Question is, how do they win them?
That's a very good question. I think they're asking themselves that right now.
Well, Mark, back to what you
30
said
love.
earlier, Compton and Kahler aren't lobbing deep enough, and they're not getting enough looks for offense.
And how much of that is a result of the
Spin
pressure
overheads.
that Hughes and Powers are putting on them?
No question, it's definitely part of that. But I think early in points, they're having opportunities to hit some good lobs and just maybe being a little too conservative. Wind's died down. I don't think it's as windy as it was during the
No.
day.
No.
Significantly. Although you just see this smoke from the barbecue kind of wafting over the court.
It smells good. Can they get that on the live stream?
40 love.
Another miss from Kahler.
No, the smell, Kelly, not just the look. Wouldn't that be cool? Someday, infused into our homes.
That's a great rip by Compton.
And a forehand rip from Compton.
Yep.
Jim, talk about the bailing. It seems like the transition game and the willingness to give up the net is something that's really a big part of the game today, more so than it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Mark and John bailing, but they make really good, quick decisions. They sense pretty early when the volley's just going to be too tough, and they give it up.
And why are you not a fan of their bailing?
I like being at the net, plain and simple.
40,
but if you hit the
15.
overhead to the wrong spot and you hit the overhead to Compton's high backhand, then you know you got to get out of there.
Well, that was John's bread and butter there. That is not a recipe to win a lot of points.
Seems like in the last couple of years, Jim, you just see so many teams who are very accepting of just playing the baseline and almost allowing it to happen more in
Yep.
the game. And I see every top team bail if they can't stick a really good volley. But, you know, so that maybe comes from the background of having played this where we
Game.
never bailed. You never even
Hughes
thought about it.
Powers.
Speaking of sticking a really good volley, so Powers step into the Compton backhand and
Sure did.
knock a volley
Yep,
past
close.
Kahler, and
Yep.
it's 4-love.
They've been really focused the last few weeks on getting closer to the net.
Hughes Powers leaves 4-love in the first set.
Anderson Bostrom have started up again.
I just wonder with the Ordira Burris matchup with Blake and Martin, just because Blake's not played that many tournaments this year,
Well, he's looked awfully good.
he's looked phenomenal for playing 2 or 3 events. But I just think mentally and physically that's tough to come into nationals without that body of all those matches behind you.
Unless your name's Jared Palmer.
Yeah, I was going to say, and
Exactly.
Jared's really struggled with it.
Yeah, Jared.
Oh, they're just firing away. Great transition.
Look at that volley. Stepped in, hit that ball
Yeah,
so
they're
deep.
closing on the net really well tonight.
So quick to the net.
A lot of short lobs by Compton and Kahler.
Great transition play.
So
Boy.
where Compton ripped that two-handed backhand, Jim. So he found that crease in
Love
between the
15.
lefty-righty.
Yep.
So that's a great play to
Great spot.
let it go
Yep.
through.
But he also hits the ball so hard and so cleanly.
Well, that trigger that Mark Powers has. Just
The ball,
boom.
Ball's on you in a hurry.
Wow. And that ball was virtually unvolleyable by one of the best volleyers in the country.
Yep. And then another one.
He is just ripping the ball right now. And again, this is a style for Hughes Powers.
And then they bailed there. They knew they lost the net.
Yeah, but you sound sad about the loss in the net, Jim, and I don't really think
No,
you
that,
need to.
that time they had no choice.
I think as lower levels in the sport where screens are not automatic, giving up the net puts those teams in a precarious position. But these guys are all so good. They can
Yep,
play
no, I
any
agree.
screen.
Mark and Patty, what's your view on the low lob? Because I've never really understood it, and I've heard you guys talk about it occasionally.
I personally don't understand where the high lob has gone.
I totally agree.
I mean, to me, it's such an effective shot.
Don't you think Mark and John are lobbing high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that Manzinger lob. Just
I
fired
remember-
in the lights.
Right, and last weekend down at Pro Flight Gym, I remember Hughes and Powers started a couple weeks ago, and the height on their lobs, you could just
15
tell they were
all.
making a point
That's what they're working
of the
on.
height on the
And I
lobs.
think when they lob higher, it ends up being deeper. I think the best way to get deep lobs is to start with height.
It's
Absolutely.
also hard to control the overheads that way, too.
Yep.
So the schools have thought if you lob a little shorter, maybe you don't let these guys have the time to wind up on the shots.
Boy, Powers is putting so much pressure on him with his court
15,
positioning.
30.
He's 5 feet inside the
He's moving to
baseline.
the side wire really well tonight.
I've never seen a team who can lob high and deep well have it be a negative.
I agree.
Oh, Hughes goes around the net
Doesn't hit it,
after hitting a winning
15-40.
volley.
which delighted the Hughes family cheering section, by the way.
You know, the other lost art, Jim, what you see Hughes and Powers doing is when people crawling up the side wire, which is something that you just don't see much.
Yeah,
in the
Mark
Northern game.
hasn't done as much of it in the past as I'd like him to, but he sure is today.
Yeah. And you
And
see both.
he's got all the elements to do it, which is crazy foot speed and great anticipation.
And I think his height helps him with that.
I do too. Yeah.
I think being short is an asset there. Not that Mark's really short. He's just not
Finally,
tall.
an asset to being short.
I knew you'd like that, Patty Hogan.
30-40.
Boy, outside of a couple of missed volleys, this has been an exhibition.
Oh boy. And Mark, you said it. One of you guys said it right away. You know, just Kahler's love of those down ups, and I see some teams. Graham McNerney loves the down up.
Yep. And Mark and John, we talked before the match about not letting Kahler do the down up so much and taking some chances against it early in the match. You can't let people think they can do it.
So
all
by that
day.
you mean you get over there and you
Go blitz.
go up
Yep.
and get some height, jump up and go for the shot.
Even if you whiff it, at least the other guy knows you're going to take a chance against it.
Right, and see that lob
great
that
rip.
John
What a
got
volley.
Compton out of the service box, created the open space, put it through, and now they've got the net.
I'd get out of there if I was Brian Compton, too. Let someone else deal with the Hughes overhead. Ball moves so far when it hits the wire. It's got so much juice on it. So another point for 5-love.
Yeah,
And
Kahler
there-
took a chance there off of a short lob.
Game.
But that's the
Hughes
problem with the
Powers.
matchup, is Kahler wants to blitz
Hughes
behind
Powers
Compton's
leads
ball,
Compton,
but
Kahler,
Hughes and
5
Powers
love
volley
in the
so
first
well,
set.
and that just amps up the tempo.
And they're closing on the net tonight.
Yeah, they're all over the net.
And I think it's tough to make that move in. Kahler from the deuce court, he went forward. The drive has to go through the middle versus cross court wide.
And get to their feet.
Yeah, because he can't cover that ball necessarily. But I don't think Kahler and Compton were on the same page on that play. So you can't just run up just to do something different.
I agree.
And I
Okay,
just think
5-love.
A lot of players would be well served when they have those drives to put some more through the middle and really test a team's footwork and their shifting. Hughes and Powers seem very relaxed, Coach Coughlin.
Yeah, it's easy to be relaxed when you're up 5-zip, but Mark and I were talking before, paddle changes very quickly.
So that looked like a tweener. Hughes or Powers could have hit it. Powers hit it to Compton's backhand. Probably
love.
not the best play.
Not the perfect place. Got away with it with a good volley.
But again, another overhead from Hughes that causes an error.
And another.
If you're not going to lob
30
well
love.
against Hughes Powers, you might as well go home.
Right.
And that's what you're seeing right now.
Not lobbing high enough.
He's just tearing him up. That's the other thing about the high lob, is it's a lot harder to generate spin on.
But when that spin comes off that overhead, how hard is it to get a solid feel on your paddle to lob the ball well? It's like the first short lob is just the breakdown, where
30-50.
lower
Absolutely.
levels, you don't have the impact of all these spins
Right, just takes one.
from the overheads.
Yep.
Missed that volley, but was in great position
right on the
on
net.
top of the net.
What a return.
Pure.
Oh, it's a great play. Love the blitz. Powers just locked and loaded.
Yeah, he's really hitting his forehand beautifully.
Single
40,
one is just
15.
getting ripped.
Very confident. I think I've done a great job coaching so far in this set.
Yeah,
Don't you
really
think?
have.
I mean, I think you should get a raise, Jim.
And when they hit good lobs, Mark and John are hitting careful overheads and not the spinners.
Compton just took off on that shot.
Dumping the ball in the middle,
Did
waiting
he
for
think
the opportunity.
Mark was going to give him a two-handed backhand there? No way. Jim, another advantage of Powers' height, I think, out here. He just lets the ball drop, and he can sort of see that bright red hat
Yeah,
making his move. And
Yep, absolutely.
Compton's trying to figure out how to get his offense into this.
Game,
Right.
set, Hughes, Powers.
Powers is just spot on
Hughes,
identifying
Powers
it.
takes
They're
the
giving
first
them
set,
nothing.
6-love.
Okay, we're going to come back. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll come back with the second set right here on the APT Network, presented by eNet Live.
When people think of Roto-Rooter, they typically just think plumbing and water cleanup. And they wouldn't be wrong, but we do a whole lot more. Roto-Rooter. Yeah, we do that too.
The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. Since 1990, the Solheim Cup has elevated women's golf. Team USA challenges Team Europe, upholding the traditions of sportsmanship and teamwork. As the women's game grows, the Solheim Cup will continue to shape its future. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex.
Okay, welcome
ready?
back to the APTA Nationals. We're about to start the second set of this quarterfinal match between Hughes and Powers, Compton and Kahler. Patty, that was a train wreck of a set for Compton Kahler. What do you think they have to do to turn it around?
Get a game, Mark.
15-love.
And that would mean what? That they lose 6-love, 6-1?
Well, yeah, you got to get a game. You
Start
can't
with
really win
one.
a set if you don't win a game, I found. So, this is so similar to that second set Broderick Palmer match where they just played a flawless set against Araya and Parsons.
15
Hughes and
all.
Powers. Monster thumping on Kahler Compton here.
Yeah, monster thumping is a good description. This match could be over before the Anderson-Bostrom match, which started about 2 hours earlier. There you see Hughes kind of hiding the lob, holding it.
I've seen no ability from Kahler Compton to slow down play here,
30,
Mark. This is
15.
just all Hughes Powers.
30-15.
Jim talks about the lobbing or their lack thereof of the deep high lobs. They've got to do something here.
Right now, Powers is just killing the ball, and Hughes is winning so many
30
points
all.
with his overhead. I mean, you don't see people win points at this level like that with the overhead.
I know what Compton and Kahler have to do, Mark.
Trip Hughes and Powers when they switch sides.
They have to hope we have a power outage.
That was my next guess.
And they freeze out Hughes and Powers, literally, and then try to regroup.
Okay, I'm going to keep you close to me so you don't pull the plug. I'm going to try and get you some scores from the Durant-Mitchell-Rose match, which has started up top.
Yeah, and maybe we can get a score on the Anderson-Bostrom-Irdoya-Burris
30-40.
match.
I think it's 3-1 in the third for Burris-Irdoya. Point for 7 games in a row for Hughes Powers.
You know, Mark, it's fun to watch perfection. We're watching it.
Yeah.
It's not fun if you're Compton Kahler, but as a paddle fan, we love this. It's just incredible display. And I joked about the power outage, but they've got to figure out a way to cool off Hughes and Powers.
You were joking?
Sort of.
Sort of is right.
That's where we need Shannon.
Well, it's
When she
interesting.
pulled the plug at Nationals by mistake. She
Yeah.
thought it was on the heaters on the courts. Hi, Shannon.
It's interesting because you talked about perfection, and it's an indication of how many ways there are to play the game because Roderick Palmer were perfect too, but in a completely different way. They were impregnable.
Winner of this match, Mark? Who do they get?
Winner of Durant, Mitchell, Rose.
How amazing are those Rose brothers?
Oh, look at Hughes reading the down up.
I watched a little bit of their match earlier, and I don't get to see them play often, but it's so fun to watch them.
Great
Game,
play by
Hughes
Hughes.
Powers.
He sees Compton moving in, hits it on his right hip, and Compton's unable to handle it.
New ball. Okay.
So it's 3-2 Anderson-Bostrom, third set.
Hughes
Durant
Powers
up
leads the
2-1.
second set, one
Up
left.
a break.
Eric Fay wants to know what the score is, and I hope he just was listening in on that. Anderson seems okay after he went down. I don't know. We still don't know if it was an ankle or cramping, but he seems like he's doing pretty well right now.
Okay, John Hughes to serve to make the score 8-0.
15
They
left.
just can find nothing to do right now.
Right. Great move from Kahler to
Great
go
blitz.
in.
Made a
He
good
took
volley.
the shot.
Hughes just made a better one.
Shout out
30
to
left.
Betsy and Natalie watching back in Pittsburgh.
Wasn't Natalie here a few hours ago?
Natalie and Betsy were here a few hours ago. Now they're there.
Boy, they are closing the net off so well. Kahler with a big tomahawk back there, and they're both on the net waiting for it.
Yeah, if they're trying to lob short, they're doing a great job of it. Kahler and Compton, really. There's no ball that's really backing up John and Mark at all.
And Hughes is just
40
cutting
love.
them up. 30 love. They're not winning a lot of points. It's going to be an early night for us, Patty Hogan. Although, I don't know if it's good news or bad news, but if this match finishes first, then
40-15.
Durant Mitchell will probably come in on this court.
Okay, so
We don't
we
have
need
early-
Compton and Kahler to get on the boards. No, we don't care. We love great paddle.
Wow, that's
Game.
that's Kahler's
Hughes
shot.
Powers.
Talk about a lack of any energy over there from Compton Kahler right now. They're really struggling in a huge hole.
Hughes Powers leads the second set, 2 love.
So that's Brian Compton serving. That's Scott Kahler heading up to the net.
I see Blake Anderson kind of hobbling a little bit. That's 4-2, they're ahead. And you wonder if they can pull this out, how the Anderson ankle will be tomorrow. There's a rare miss from Hughes.
15 love.
You know what, Mark, which just strikes me here is Kahler's hitting that overhead. He lets the ball drop. Whoops, we have a let. Ball coming in from the other court, so they stop play. But you don't see those heavy slash overheads from Kahler, Mark, nor do you see the heavy roller. He doesn't have that spin variety, and I think that's hurting them here in this match. They can't really break down Hughes and Powers with Hughes and Powers' strong play from the baseline here.
Powers just absolutely locked in. Fourth 3. Anderson Bostrom.
Driving percentage right now, Hughes and Powers in this match. 99%, Mark.
Pretty much.
30-15.
Well, that's all Compton has to do to just hope John can't get out of the way a couple more times.
They haven't even had a lot of game points. This is the first ball that Powers has kind of mishit.
And just a short volley again from Kahler right there, and Powers just took it, hit a high percentage drive again. Hughes and Powers take the net. And here we go. The variety of spins. Well, there we go. Powers finally missed.
Chance to get on the board. And there it is.
Game, Compton, Kahler.
Mark, I was on a lopsided match yesterday. I can't remember which one. And, you know, the point I made was these players are amazing players. Kahler and Compton could play 99% of people on the planet.
2-1
and beat them.
Against Compton, Kahler
but
in
with
the
the
second
play of
set.
our tournament #1 seeds right here, they look invincible.
As did Broderick Palmer earlier today.
Oh, I mean, tomorrow is going to be an incredible day of paddle.
And we haven't seen Durant Mitchell play yet.
They might be one of our favorite teams ever to watch play.
Okay, Mark Powers to serve. 2-1, second set. And they're just completely negated the Kahler blitz by closing off the net. A couple of better lobs there. Kahler takes one off the back fence.
Kahler, I mean, he's got that
15
two-handed drive,
love.
Mark. We've
Yeah.
seen him hit that a million times. But maybe you just don't hit it as an all-or-nothing shot.
Well, I just think right now they have to slow the tempo down. Great blitz from Powers, just stealing time constantly.
And to Jim
30
Kaufman's
love.
point earlier, that they know these guys hit the down-up overheads, and they're going to take chances, and you could just see great camera angle of Powers loading up, and he was just going to jump up and crush that ball.
30-15.
Good return there from Kahler.
Good drive right at John Hughes.
And that's wide.
40-15.
It's all so fast. There's so few lobs. Point for 3-1. Another good return from Kahler.
40-30.
Big
Deuce.
rip there from Compton. Takes us back to deuce. Little resistance they're showing.
I haven't seen Powers serve sidearm yet today in this match.
No.
I'm just surprised because I've seen him do it a ton throughout the season, but not once yet in this match.
Advantage Compton, Kahler.
Break opportunity for Compton Kahler. Anderson Bostrom go up 5-3, one game from their first national semifinal. Maybe the key is not to play much paddle all year and then just come into nationals. Oh, big return
Game,
from
Compton,
and
Kahler.
it's 2-all. Well, they had about 4 or 5 huge returns there.
Yeah, but they forced 2 volley errors out of John Hughes in that game. He had
2-all
very
in the
few the
second
rest of the
set.
match. So some signs of hope here for Kahler and Compton.
Oh, what a stab volley from
I mean,
Powers.
5-15.
Powers has done that about 5 times so far in this match, where he's set his paddle on the forehand and just sticks it over on his backhand and then sticks it over and picks off and covers that middle on these precision drives these guys are hitting, and it makes it look so easy.
Well, Powers reads that one. Great action there. Really want to see Compton Kahler make this a match. Hate seeing another completely non-competitive quarterfinal.
Well, and this is the thing about paddle. I mean, Hughes and Powers on fire in that first set, didn't miss a shot. All of a sudden,
15-all.
Compton and Kahler really aren't doing anything different. But
Hard to maintain that level.
Hughes and Powers just cooled off a little bit here.
Okay, Mickerdoya with a hold. Martin Bostrom will serve for the match at 5-4 in the third.
Mark, you can live stream 2 matches at the same time.
2's my limit, Patty. Blake Anderson's really hobbling over there. Again, great close from Hughes Powers. Just so tight on the net.
How smooth is that Powers overhead? He gets his paddle way
15-30.
back. Such a loose shot. Loose swing, I mean.
Great backhand.
15-40.
And they just got the break, and now they're in danger of giving it back again.
But how good a shot was that from Mark Powers? Scott Kahler got in there, moved over. I mean, almost ideal position, and couldn't come up with that volley. Mark, you've seen a million matches this year, and this is where, when you're as good as Compton Kahler,
What a get off the beam.
even though they were looking low energy 2 games ago, it's totally changed now.
Yep.
You feel like they've got a little bounce in their step here. Hey, that was an amazing overhead from Compton right
stance.
there. Put that ball deep,
30-40.
and Hughes fired and missed.
Hughes looks very confused there.
He can't believe he missed a shot, Mark.
This would be a big game for Compton Kahler to win. So Hughes missed forehands all of a sudden, back to deuce.
But the
Deuce.
depth of the overheads. Compton hit one just inside the baseline, and Kahler just hit one right inside the baseline. If they can induce, John Hughes to drive that ball, that's great for them.
Anderson Bostrom, 2 points from the match. Double match point in the next court, Patty Hogan. This is great tempo for Compton Kahler. The type of point they need to play. Lobbing better, a little deeper. 1 match point saved. Great get.
That's what we need from Compton. I'm liking that slash overhead. Yeah, dramatic different pace of play here from the first 7 games.
And you just have to lob well to slow them down. Otherwise you have that happen. Great ball from Kahler in
Wow.
transition.
I think they heard you, Mark. They did not want to go down 8-0.
Advantage, Compton Kahler.
Huge forehand from Powers. Great lob from Kahler.
Big
Another
time.
match point saved
Yeah,
from
big
Burris
time point from
Erdoya.
Erdoya there.
Anderson blitzed and had a shot at it.
They drop shot at Blake with his sore foot or leg, Mark. That wasn't very nice of Sven Burris.
He got to it easily and then was in position to win the point.
Yep, now you can see Hughes and Powers with an effort to lob again, get some height on their lobs, because Compton and Kahler are now dictating play much more so from the net.
And the lobs were going so deep in the first set, not so much now. And Burris Erdoya back to 5-all. 2 match points saved.
Erdoya just hit a big time forehand. I think it was a little bit of a let cord, went right over Blake's paddle.
Great comeback from Burris Erdoya.
Deuce.
Not sure what happened there. I'm not sure Compton expected Kahler to hit the ball to Power's forehand right there.
Advantage, Hughes Powers.
Well, this would be a tough game for Compton Kahler to lose. They came back from down 40-15.
Yeah, they did a great job crawling their way back into this match.
That is a big forehand. We also haven't seen Hughes winning points with that big overhead for a while. Back to Deuce
Deuce.
again.
They're shaking their heads, but those are happy shaking of their heads right now.
Boy, things have really shifted on the other court. It's 5-all, 30 love. Sven Burrish serving. And the body language from Anderson Bostrom is not great right now.
Wow.
Big ball there.
Advantage,
from
Compton,
Powers
Kahler.
close. First set, he never missed that volley.
That ball just had a little too much heat on it for him.
Mark, is it more fun for you to live stream or run a tournament?
It's more fun for me to run a tournament while I'm live streaming.
Oh, I bet. Make a lot of popular decisions throughout the weekend.
Always. I'm so popular. And there he catches Hughes in transition, and it's a big
Compton
hold for
Kahler.
Compton Kahler.
So
Showing
right
a
there,
lot of
Mark,
belief.
I think that
Compton Kahler
John
leads
Hughes
3-2 in the second
thought
set.
it was going to be the signature moment for
First
Kahler
set
to
went
hit
to
the down
Hughes
up,
Powers.
and he started making his signature scoop move over to that side screen. Kahler saw it and didn't give him the shot. So incredible turnaround here for Compton and Kahler. We're in Darien, Connecticut, 2020 APTA National Championships.
And it's 6-5, Burrish or Doya. Blake Anderson will serve to stay in the match.
So Anderson, Bostrom are up 5-3, Mark, and what a momentum swing over on that court as well.
And had 2 match points at 5-4, 40-15, and Burrish or Doya just refused to miss.
So hard to believe that we're Compton and Kahler up 3-2. Great turnaround for them.
That's a ball I think he should have let Compton hit a
15
forehand
love.
on. Compton's been so hot of late.
And Compton kind of hit it as a 2-shot sequence. He wanted that second shot right there. And I mean, you know, he kind of hit a lob, anticipating where the next ball would go, lining up his forehand drive.
And there's the Kahler blitz, which was so ineffective in the first set. Okay, Durant Mitchell won the first set 6-3.
Who are they playing, Mark?
Playing the Rose brothers.
Compton. Good Chicago representation out here.
All missed wide, 15 all in the Anderson Bostrom match. Mick Doyle looks at the chair in disbelief.
Just looking to the live streamers for some divine intervention.
Right now he's 2 points away from not needing divine intervention as he hits a big forehand to get to 15-30. That's a great call from Powers.
You know, and Kahler got the look he
30
wanted that
love.
forehand, and Compton and Kahler just have to be on the same page at the same time here. You know, one of them's spectacular than the other one, or both of them not so, and I feel like they're each kind of finding their range here.
And there you see
30-15.
Powers kind of backing off the net and gets beaten by Kahler, which we didn't see much of in the first set.
And I think he hesitated. You know, he was thinking, do I bail altogether, or do I stay in here? And I think Kahler's shot was great because it was right at him. It didn't really give him the choice at the last minute.
And there Hughes Powers kind of messed up the switch. And
You don't say that a lot.
Barisher Doya now up double match point. There's a roar from Barisher Doya.
A cheer heard back in Estonia from Mikir Doya.
Great overhead by Compton brings us to 30-all.
30-all.
That was some war over there.
And what a great display of sportsmanship out there, Mark. We love to see that. These guys battled it out, and every one of them really played a spectacular match.
What a volley.
Wow.
Big point, too. Really
40,
read that
30.
and pushed it behind him.
And to, you know, hit a winner and that thing die off the snowboard. How hard is that to do?
Hughes Powers need to win this game. 40-15 the last two games, lost them both. Not to say they can't come back from not winning it, but it's really important they kind of quell the momentum here.
Did they know that their coach really left? I think he just left the booth. I think he's out in the bleachers somewhere.
Compton is just ripping that forehand. Hughes Powers don't really know what hit the overheads right now. Oh, well, they know what hit the forehands.
Compton knows where not to hit the overhead.
Yeah, that ball caught Compton going through, and it's 3-all.
Game Hughes Powers.
Well,
3-all in the second
great
set.
effort from Anderson Bostrom. Just have to feel so badly for them. And conversely, an amazing effort from Barisher Doya, who come back from double match point, and they'll play tomorrow in the semifinals against Broderick and Palmer.
One more game and we'll switch balls. Right? Every 7.
Switching on the 7.
Yeah, 2 more games. Love.
Hughes misses that lob.
Just incredible change of momentum here in the second set, Mark.
Missed return
30
from
love.
Powers. First one we've seen from him in a while.
Really good serve from Compton to go up the tee on Powers. Powers, an inside hitter, loves that ball when you hit it anywhere near. I mean, he just pounces that ball into his body.
Bostrom match was over 3 hours.
They must be hungry.
Now you've seen a lot better overheads too from Compton Kahler.
I think I like it when Compton's to the left of the two players at the net, Mark. I feel like he's got a little bit more variety going with his overheads than Scott Kahler, and Kahler loves volleying on top of the net. That's their ideal formation.
I think that's a good point, Patty Hogan.
Thanks, Mark Fischel.
Again, great pace of play for Compton. Kahler slowed the match down.
But look at the depth on that ball.
Good Powers in tight, catching the ball early.
Wow.
Compton is just ripping the ball on the forehand side too. Not leaving them a lot of safe places to hit the overheads. See them playing a lot of balls into Kahler. And their Kahler catches them off the net.
Really smart play because Scott's hit some tremendous shots earlier in this match into the middle where Powers has flipped his paddle over the forehand mark. I pointed that out. And I think you got to, when the guy's doing that really well, you've got to keep him honest and go down his line.
And there was a real late decision by Mark Powers, and it's 3-4 second set. This match is really turned around.
In the second set.
Shocking, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely, Patty Hogan.
Hughes Powers took the first set 6-love.
I mean, just played 7 absolutely flawless games. And a testimony to Compton and Kahler hanging in there, hanging in there.
Yeah, they were hanging their heads. I thought that, you know, they were maybe at the end of their end of the time where they felt that this was doable. But then monster turnaround here. 2-all in this set. You could kind of feel a momentum swing, and they went up 3-2, and now they have that 4-3 advantage here in the second set. Quarterfinals, APTA National Championships.
Durant Mitchell up 6-3, 1-love.
So, Mark, will they move down here, or
Not sure, Patty Hogan. At this point, it looks like no.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be tough to get them down here in the middle of a set. And it's a shame we don't get to kind of share that match because that's got to be a phenomenal match as well.
See, that's a questionable decision for me from Scott Kahler. His partner is just on fire. Don't hit your second best shot like that. I mean, he's just, that's where they're winning their points off of the Compton drives. He's just ripping everything right now.
And Kahler moving in. I mean, he's got the wingspan and amazing hands on the volleys. That's working out now.
30-15.
Yeah, and there again, now you have Compton blitzing, which isn't bad, but it's not what they do best. That's the first return he hasn't ripped in a while.
Yeah, I think they've got to play keep away from Brian Compton here.
Or at least get the ball on his side wire.
Which is dicey with that two-handed backhand that he's got. And, you know, a little better lobbing here, a lot better lobbing.
Oh, great rip there. Ball hit the seam. But even
30
still,
all.
you know, like you said, keep away, and Compton rips the forehand, 30 all. Compton's played some second set. Yeah, I think they let Hughes hit a lot more of the overheads right now. And that was pressure from
Advantage.
Compton.
Kahler.
Just sneaking in a tiny bit.
Point for 5-3.
Coach Kaufman may turn around on 95 and come right back here, Mark.
Oh, a couple of great volleys from Hughes Powers, and Compton barely missed that one.
Yeah, he wishes he had that one back.
Durant up 3-2, second set. That's a smart overhead. Hughes catches Compton cheating to the middle and hits it behind him. Forces the error.
You can see how important that point was to Hughes and Powers.
Yeah, if they can get a hold here, it shifts the pressure right back to Compton Kahler. I think that Hughes overhead is so much more effective when it goes at the player in the deuce court.
Right, he's not trying to hit it into the screens right off the deck. He wants the ball to bounce into that player's body and force them to move out of the way, maybe. Uh-oh. Oh, wow.
That was a little scary.
I thought Kahler was going to get clocked.
Did a great job of getting out of the way.
I didn't sense he was happy about that. But
that's the overhead
Compton's
I like.
feeling it. I mean, you just got to let the guy go. Really good lob right there. Thought it was Powers' turn to hit, but John backed up and took it. John's a little disappointed in himself. Missed the volley there, wide for sure.
Call
Back
stands.
to deuce. Call stands.
Deuce.
I think that qualified as a temper tantrum for John Hughes. Anybody else, it was nothing. John's so incredibly well behaved and nice. Obviously didn't like the call. Short lobs, they'll get you in trouble. They survived that foray.
Really good lob right there.
And that time Compton stayed home. Yeah, then Powers was forcing the action. That was the wrong ball to drive, and they'll have another
Advantage,
break
Compton
opportunity.
Kahler.
The door is open. We need someone to close it. It's going to be Mark Powers.
I'd do it, but I'm too far.
Was Brian Compton raised his level?
And that
Wow.
lob in that point to set that drive up. Outstanding.
Oh, a
Oh, my
double
Lord.
leg cord.
Deuce.
Wow. John Hughes is so upset he's delivering a verbal apology.
Powers says, let's go, John. You're really not sorry. Move on.
Advantage. Hughes Powers.
Wow, that ball falls the other way. There's Compton Kahler is serving for the set. Instead, they
Game,
miss
Hughes
back-to-back
Powers.
returns, and it's 4-all.
They're going
got
to
a new
regret
ball.
that, Mark.
Yeah.
Can't miss the returns
need a
right there.
ball.
Huge
Yep.
moment in the match.
Yeah.
Hughes and
Can we
Powers
get us a
crushed in
ball,
the first
please?
set 6-0, and Kahler and Compton really have had, I mean, Compton lights out second set here.
Just
And
amazing.
Kahler's level has risen as well, but Compton is just an unbelievable display here. Mark, do you like it when time springs ahead, or do you like it when it
Hughes
falls back?
Powers
I like when it
leads
springs ahead.
4-all. Thank you. In the second
We're
set.
always at nationals when it springs
Yeah.
ahead.
Springs
Got it.
back. Falls ahead,
Back.
springs back.
Back, ahead,
I like this.
whatever.
I like it when it stays light out later. Great exchange there.
And when we're in Chicago and we have a time change as well.
Yeah. Another great overhead. He's really hurt Compton with that down the line overhead at him.
Left 15.
I don't think Compton's seen too many lefties spin the ball quite like Hughes does.
Well, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, Hughes just didn't have that many weapons off his overhead, and he worked on it, developed a few of cut, slash, kick, overheads, a ton of variety.
Great blitz there.
Love 30.
Powers sees Hughes lining it up. That all started with that soft drive from Hughes. Saw Kahler off the net. He popped it up, and it's love 30. And here it comes. Just can't transition like that. And it's love 40.
Yeah, Kahler just got suckered
Love
into
40.
that action right there, and
Had to lob that ball.
yeah.
You just cannot get suckered into that action, as you pointed out, against Hughes and Powers. They are too good in transition.
Wow, great hands for Hughes to keep that volley in the court.
Interested to see if Hughes takes another one back at Kahler. I'm sorry, back at Compton. That big spinny overhead he hit.
See Powers keep his second hand on that paddle, Mark, just to defend that pace.
Great volley.
Yep. Ton of pressure now from Kahler and Compton. Their play has improved 1,000,000% in the second set.
There's the overhead I talked about. Boy, Compton's getting in trouble here.
But he gets himself out of trouble. He's that good.
4-2 Durant Mitchell, second set.
Oh, Scott just went for a little off
Game.
speed
Hughes Powers.
shot. Just didn't fall in.
So
Hughes
hard to
Powers
miss
leads
that
5-4 in the
off-speed
second
ball,
set.
though. And they'll serve
Hughes
for the
Powers
match.
took the first set, 6
Well, it's
love.
not really hard to miss it, Mark.
Yeah. It's hard to miss it if you're this good a team.
It's hard. It's unfortunate that at this time in the match, 4-all on a game point, to miss an off-speed type of shot. I think that's what we meant.
Yes. Exactly
Good answer, Mark Fisher.
what you said, Patty.
Wow, what a hands from Powers.
I'm not sure what John Hughes
Left
was doing there. He
15.
kind of faked like he was going to jump to the middle, and then Compton hit him in the chest.
I think he only faked out Powers. You don't want to fake out your partner.
Yeah, and then Kahler gets baited again. Recovered that time. Oh, and there Kahler comes out ahead in the
30.
cat and mouse.
He didn't get baited on that one. He made that one.
Yeah, that Hughes overhead just kind of sat there and said, hit me. Great shot from Kahler.
Love 40.
And they've got 3 break points to even things up at 5. You saw this coming, right, Patty?
Exactly. Hughes and Powers knows now how Compton and Kahler felt in that first set, where Kahler's on fire all of a sudden here, and Compton remains, he's got a hot hand. All of a sudden, there's no great place for Hughes and Powers to go.
Great block lob there, Kahler. And there's that big forehand. Powers transitions so brilliantly.
Wow.
Oh, that was his shot.
15. 1340.
Just didn't come out. He needed
Quite,
one
yep.
more foot.
Yeah, didn't quite come out
Get
far
in front of
enough
him
for him.
enough. Yep. Oh, big time serve
catches
from
the-
Hughes there. Hung
But
up there.
But Kahler was on the nick.
3040.
He got the perfect read on that ball.
Yeah, it came out so nicely and he missed it. I think that's a ball Scott makes 8 times out of 10.
Great rip again from Compton. Effortless dig from Hughes going back off that screen.
Boy, if I'm Compton Kahler, I'm not going to miss
Deuce.
a short overhead like that.
That's a
was thinking-
shocking miss from Brian Compton.
Yeah. Wow. I'm thinking I'm keeping the ball away from Mark Powers, but that wasn't even a difficult overhead. He was just trying to dump the ball to Hughes.
Down love 40 to deuce, Mark? Was it love 40?
Yep. Durant up 5-2, and that one's almost over. Catches the seam. It'll be another break opportunity.
Advantage, Compton, Kahler.
John is not happy with that seam right now, Mark. Another gigantic point.
Well, Kahler wanted to hit that one.
He did. Wow. A few down up overheads here from Hughes and Powers. They're taking a little bit out of the Kahler playbook. Oh, my
what
God,
a
what a
dig
dig
from
from Scott
Kahler.
Kahler.
And Powers kicks his paddle in disgust.
Game,
Amazing
Compton,
get.
Kahler.
He looked completely dead, and it's 5-all.
5-5 in the second set.
Some applause from John Hughes for that pickup.
Yeah. I mean,
This is-
Powers just cannot believe that ball came back. All right, so Brian Compton serving 5-all second set. Really a wonderful turn of events for them in the second set. And, you know, they both have taken turns with the hot hand. Compton's hot hand continues. Scott's getting hotter here.
But Compton and Kahler really showed you what kind of team they are. After that slow start, just kind of withstood the blitz, lost the first set, just kind of hung in there, and here they are right back in the match.
Wow.
Oh, what a backhand.
Wow.
That point had 3 or 4 brilliant shots.
I mean, what do you have to do to win a point out here, Mark?
I thought Powers
Left
was
15.
completely beat when he let that ball get to the second wire, but somehow he dug it up, and Kahler had a great half volley, but not good enough.
Look Look at
Great
that spin.
recovery by Kahler.
Yeah, what an adjustment he made.
Just tremendous athleticism. Wow. There you saw both
15 all.
Hughes Powers reaching for that, and he just beat him with pace.
And he took 2 balls to the same spot between the righty and the lefty, Mark.
Which is
Just because they
exactly-
got the first one back, he didn't veer off what he had to do to break him down.
Yep, that's exactly where you got to hit the ball against a righty-lefty combination.
Wow, great cover. Good lob from that deuce court from John Hughes. Mark Powers is over there on the far side, royal blue in the ad court with the fusion shirt. Scott Kahler to our left, and Brian Compton in the red hat.
Great lob. And Kahler smartly lobs it back.
Yeah, great recognition from Hughes. He just moved in, cut that ball, and
15-30.
hit a winner into that side screen. Gigantic moment again. Really good serve from Compton, just totally handcuffed Mark Powers.
In the first set, that wasn't manageable. Powers was just ripping every single ball. But he didn't maintain that level, and Compton Kahler picked it up, and here it comes. They quickly transition out of Compton in the deuce side. Oh, Powers had him in all sorts of trouble and misses the volley wide.
30 all.
Kahler drove that backhand. The ball was coming at him before he finished his swing, but it was just wide.
It's a little more what we expected out of Compton and Kahler. They're a really good team, one of the top teams in the country, obviously. And their
40-30.
volleying in this set has, just improved dramatically here. And now Hughes and Powers are kind of wondering, what do they have to do here?
Durant Mitchell are through, 3-2 over the Rose brothers. And they'll play the winner of this match tomorrow morning at 9. Oh, great transition there from Kahler. He's lost that
Game,
battle
Compton
several
Kahler.
times. That one he won.
Compton
again,
Kahler
Mark, the
leads
ball through the
6-5
middle
in
and-
the second set.
Kahler's moved that
Hughes
shot
Powers
over a little bit.
Won the first set, 6-love.
Powers had flipped his paddle successfully every time in that first set to defend that shot. Scott moved it a little bit now, and Mark, is reaching over and just little mistiming there. And 6-5. Kahler,
Mark
Compton,
Powers will
second
serve.
set. Who would have thunk it, Mark?
Yeah, Mark Powers will serve to stay in the second set.
Mark, does your committee deliver dinner if this goes 3?
Absolutely, Patty Hogan. No chance of that not happening.
I actually had a chicken sandwich earlier, and I ate it, and it took me 1 point from the Broderick Uriah Parsons match. And Jared, I was standing out there talking to a member of Juan's club, Greenwich Country Club, and I ate my sandwich, and I finished it, and 1 point was still going on.
15-love.
And I don't eat fast, Mark.
Wow,
15
he
all.
is just hitting the ball so cleanly all of a sudden. Ball's just exploding off his paddle from both sides. Great matrix move through the 5-hole, and they stay in the point. Great lob there. Another great lob from block lob from Compton. From Kahler.
Perfect playing conditions, Mark. No wind tonight. Beautiful LED lights out here. The only thing missing is Robert Krause's red jumpsuit.
What a shot from Kahler on the move.
Yeah, amazing. But a shout out to Robert
15-30.
Krause, Ivan Harlow, third time in a row, New Jersey State 60 champs, Mark. There's paddle going on everywhere around the country today.
2 points from the set.
Wow. Shocking.
Oh, that
30
was
all.
Kahler's shot. I don't know if he ever really lined that ball up. Positive energy from John Hughes. Boy, the
40,
serving has
30.
been really good this set, Patty.
Yeah. Little awkward return, little mistimed shot from Kahler there.
But seemed virtually no faults.
Don't say it, Mark.
I waited till after he served. And again, he's just beating him with pace.
Deuce.
John Hughes is one of the best volleyers in the country, and Compton is just firing away. It's not even that well spotted. That ball was on John's right hip. As a lefty, that's a comfortable drive.
Yeah, he didn't really get his feet set and use his legs to kind of control the pace there.
Yeah, but that's, you know, Kahler
That's
was,
the power.
Compton has forced a lot of missed volleys with that. Yeah, he's 2-4 off the net from that, and it's set point,
Advantage
Patty
Compton
Hogan.
Kahler.
I can't even believe this, Mark. What a turnaround.
Powers over there with some words of encouragement for Hughes. Would look like an absolute cakewalk. Has become a battle. That's a great volley. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, great overhead.
Deuce.
It looked like Compton was going to let the ball through, and at the last second his paddle flicked at it.
Well, he saw that ball was just dying. He had no chance if he let it go by. All right, 1 point from the second set
Advantage Hughes
tiebreaker now.
Powers.
I tell you, Hughes and Powers are such tremendous competitors. They just fight so hard every point. They never give you anything.
Great move again from Kahler coming in. Compton, of course, hit a beautiful return of serve again. Kept the ball low. They get the net.
Smart bail by Hughes. Staying the point. Staying alive.
Yep, just missed.
Call stands.
And that's frustration. And he doesn't really think his ball was good, Mark, to tell you the truth. Just a little frustration there.
Deuce.
Back to deuce.
Cheering section trying to motivate the Hughes Powers team here. I don't think they need motivation, actually.
Yeah. 8:12, Patty, as we enter our 11th hour. And there, Powers catches Compton off guard and sneaks to the middle. Our
Advantage
11th hour of
Hughes
broadcasting.
Powers.
A stellar job by the whole ENet crew. And we'll get to the
Game.
breaker. Save
Hughes
set point.
Powers. Tiebreaker.
I kind of wanted a tiebreaker, Mark, just because the play is so fun now in the second set.
One of the rare missed returns from Compton this set.
Six all. We've got a tiebreaker. First team to get 7 points by 2 will win the set.
And they're playing a lot of balls to Hughes right now.
There's a switch back to get Compton on the left side of the two players. He's just got a little bit greater variety on his overheads. Really good tactical change, Mark. I just think they got themselves in a hurl, in a hole early in this match. With Kahler just hitting that push shot to John, they were kind of, on fire. So I'm liking that they didn't fall back in that pattern to start the tiebreaker.
Oh, some forehand volley by Compton there. He looked like he was in all sorts of trouble. Great blitz from Powers. Great get from Compton. Oh, Kahler with a real good swing at a high forehand. First point of the tiebreak goes to Hughes Powers.
Mark,
Hughes
that was the
Powers
first
leads
point.
1-love in the tiebreak.
But it kind of feels like that was a 2-pointer, or maybe a 3. I don't know, I'm just thinking about basketball all of a sudden, and I feel like it was a 3.
I don't think Compton Kahler would be willing to agree with you, Patty.
Just in terms of the momentum, the mini momentum in this tiebreaker here.
Which is critical for at least 1 point. One that you win. Just dumping the ball at Kahler over and over again. I think that's a great strategy. Compton is just on fire. Stay away from him. Keep him honest a little bit. Ball hard against his side wire. Oh, what a volley from Powers.
Yeah, I think Kahler's got to get a lob up the line and force the play over to Compton here.
Yeah, hasn't realized that Powers is closing the net on him.
And he's the shorter of the two players, and up the line forces the play to go over to the other side.
Great patience by Powers to let that ball come off the wires. This would really be a big point to get 3-point separation. And the tiebreak would be not impossible, but puts Compton Kahler in a real hole. And isn't it interesting, Patty, all those fancy plays we saw earlier? Right now it's just solid paddle. Lots of lobbing, lots of patience. The points get more important. They get slower and slower.
That's why I talk about old school versus the power game, and it always seems to end up where the game slows down at the critical moments. Unless your name's Johan Duran. But even Johan has seen the merits of slowing down play a little bit this year.
Oh, Hughes is disgusted with that.
Hughes
Rightfully
Powers
so.
leads
Kind of got
2-1
caught
in
between
the
the
tiebreaker.
between shots. Tried a little soft forehand that, what'd you say, Patty? Middle of the net or lower third?
I think bottom third.
Bottom third, yeah. Just can't give points away like that. And there's Powers. Oh, great transition. He volleys so well on the move. That's great exchange there. See, that overhead's relatively easy for Kahler. The one that's hard goes hard backside. I think he's got to go more at him.
And Scott's a big guy to get out of the way of that ball. Isn't the easiest thing sometimes.
Yeah, Scott moves so well.
Ah, there it is, the Compton backhand.
Again, the pace of play perfect for Compton Kahler. A lot of lobbing, waiting to set Compton up. That big forehand or that big backhand. You can see when Powers is going over there, he's going over there hard on the side wire. They're going to Kahler, they're just dumping. Great recovery there, and another great recovery. Powers volleys so well with that forehand.
Wow. Oh, my Lord. That was gigantic.
That was kind of a look away. We got to see that again.
I think Mark Powers would like to see it for the first time.
It's 3-1 in the tiebreaker.
Wow. Just an amazing volley. Another chance to have 3 point separation.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Good move not to hit that ball.
That was like Tiger Woods stopping on his backswing. He was deep into that serve.
Wow, what a serve from Compton up the tee there.
I don't think we've seen a fault in like 10 games. Everybody's serving so well. Wow, Hughes just completely airmails the lob.
Hughes Powers leads
That's
3-2
2
in the
points this
tiebreaker.
breaker that Hughes has just completely donated. He wasn't under any pressure at all there.
Besides the pressure of playing for a spot in the semifinals of the national championship.
But you are talking about a team that's been in at least 3 semifinals the last 3 years.
Doesn't get any easier to get there, Mark.
No, but it's definitely easier to if you've been there than if you haven't. Now, both these teams have been there. And gosh, Anderson, Bostrom, how hard a night it's going to be for them. And there's the fault from Powers, takes us to 3-all.
If
3-all.
Lauren were sitting next to you, Mark, she would say, "There you did it again, Mark. You said nobody's faulted, and he faults." Wow.
Oh, great lob.
Oh, what touch to get that ball so softly over Hughes' head.
And then Powers misses a pretty routine ball, and it's
Compton
4-3.
Kahler 4-3.
Boy, Compton Kahler played some point there.
Wow. Really good touch volley in transition from John Hughes there. Perfect spot from Kahler.
Great backhand from Kahler. That one came off the back wire
Compton
too
Kahler
hot.
leads 5-3 in the tiebreaker.
He takes the backhand high, kind of right shoulder on Powers, and he can't handle the volley. They can win this next point. I think it's 5-3 in the breaker. Yeah, if they win this next point, they'll have 3 additional set points. And all those great returns from Hughes with a great dipping forehand, and it's 4-5.
Compton Kahler leads 5-4 in the tiebreaker.
Quick shout out to Richmond, Virginia, the Arthur family watching, and Jack's getting to watch his first live stream paddle match.
Patty, the tiebreaker in terms of momentum is just all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you
how
know,
fun is this? It's
yeah,
a
it's
roller
great.
coaster.
But you think one team's got him and the other team comes back, and then you think the other team's got him, and it shifts again.
Yep, that's John Hughes serving, down 4-5 in the tiebreaker. That is not a mistake on the scoreboard. It was 6-0 in the first set.
Great volley. Boy, Powers has done such a great job jumping the net and taking advantage of those drives.
5-5 in the tiebreaker.
Okay, the winner of this point will have a set point, and if it's Hughes Powers, it'll be a match point.
Great rip again from Compton.
Oh, speaking of great rips. Oh,
Oh, my Lord.
wow.
Just
Surprising
incredible.
miss. Great point. Surprising miss from Kahler, but great action from both
Hughes
teams, and it's
Powers,
match point
6-5.
for Hughes and Powers.
Good dump overhead down the middle, just a
6-0.
little bit out of Powers' range there.
Yeah, he had so far to come back and make that volley, and that's Powers' favorite shot, that inside-out forehand, and he misses it. 6-all. Match point saved.
That's his sweet spot.
I think it hit Kahler going through,
Wow.
but it doesn't matter. He misses the lob anyway. Some great
Compton,
sportsmanship
Hughes
out there.
Powers, 7-6.
Match point number 2. Practice serve. I tell you one thing, I'm sure he's very happy serving to Kahler, not Compton. And there it is, game, set, and match. Hughes Powers, 6-love, 7-6, 8-6 in the breaker. Patty, any closing thoughts?
Oh my gosh, that
Set
second
match.
set.
7-6.
I just don't even know what to say.
Congratulations, nice
Roller
match.
coaster, exceptional play from all four players. What a
Hughes
joy to
Powers,
watch.
6-0,
Just amazing.
7-6.
Okay, we're going to have an interview with our winners in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
You can't put wings on a car. You can't see an accident coming. Or walk away from one like this. You can't make a car talk.
How can I help you?
You can't fight gravity. And you can't make one of the world's best SUVs even better. Go on, tell us what else we can't do. The all-new GLS.
Are you ready to go?
Possibly the safest, most spacious, most Mercedes SUV ever made. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
When people think of Roto-Rooter, they typically just think plumbing and water cleanup. And they wouldn't be wrong, but we do a whole lot more. Roto-Rooter. Yeah, we do that too.
The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. For Rolex and tennis, the tradition began in 1978 and has grown to include the most iconic majors and tournaments since, supporting the legends, champions, and rising stars committed to the future of the game. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex. The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. Since 1990, the Solheim Cup has elevated women's golf. Team USA challenges Team Europe, upholding the traditions of sportsmanship and teamwork. As the women's game grows, the Solheim Cup will continue to shape its future. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex.
Okay, welcome back. I'm joined by the winners and our final national semifinalists, John Hughes and Mark Powers. Guys, first set was absolutely flawless. What happened after that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you gotta give credit to Scott and Brian. Those guys are just unbelievable fighters. I mean, we won the first 8 games of the match, and I felt like we were just playing exactly the way we wanted to play, lobbing well, which was sort of generating the offense for us in the backcourt, and everything just felt really easy. I think we started to kind of maybe get away from that a little bit, but I think it really just kind of it was a result of those guys just really grinding and kind of working their way back into the match. It was really impressive what they were able to do. I mean, they had a set point and had a chance to go 3, so all the credit to them. We were lucky to get through. So.
Compton just started unleashing the forehands.
Yeah, he can really rip the ball off both sides. They're both such great athletes, but he's got a tremendous firepower off both sides. To your earlier question, it was kind of a matter of when. They needed to get one game to kind of break that momentum. It's always dangerous to win so many games in a row when you're playing flawless. One quick break, one kind of couple good balls in a row, and the momentum can change on a dime. So we were kind of expecting that to happen. It was just a matter of when, and we just needed to kind of tighten up the way we eventually did.
And it seemed to me that you guys have really focused on jumping on top of the net. And Mark, you really hurt Scott Kahler a lot in the second set, closing in when he was driving the ball and punching the ball behind him. Was that part of the game plan?
Yeah, I've always felt that our best formation is when John's off the net a bit, taking a lot of the overheads, and I'm able to kind of get on top of the net and punish kind of the half drive off the back screen. But you know what? They lobbed really well, and they kept me jumping backwards. I'm exhausted, so it's kind of credit to them to not making it easy.
You made one volley, Mark, in the tiebreak on a ball that Compton hit about Mach 6, and it almost looked like you looked away as you made contact with the volley. Did you see that ball?
Yeah, no. I look away because I'm always expecting it to hit the top of the net and hit me in the face. So that's just the way I play that ball, but I got lucky there. I mean, he hit a phenomenal ball, so.
Okay, thoughts tomorrow? You got Durant Mitchell, 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, an extra hours of sleep as the clock's pushed forward?
We lose the hour, don't we lose the hour?
Whichever.
Okay. All right, that's okay. Those guys, they've just been playing so well this year. I think they've gotten better and better. We've played them twice this year and got the better of them the first time, and they got the better of us the second time. It's going to be a great match. I think Stephen Mitchell has just continued to just really improve, and Johan has really kind of stayed the course with him as a partner, and it's nice to see as a partnership. You know what I mean? And just kind of bringing him along, and he's just really kind of developed into a really, really good player.
Kind of the way you've done for Mark.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody says. So no, it'll be good. We're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to a great day.
Okay, thanks for joining us, guys. It's fantastic. Good night, everybody. And that's a wrap. Delivered by Uline.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Mark.